Hi and welcome to another Selenium recipe. In this video, we're going to have a look at how to handle iframes. And in order to do that, we're going to go from our For Me website to another website, which is the -internet website, because here we have an example for an iframe. So what are iframes? Iframes are pieces of code that allow you to show in a web page data, for example, images, videos, different elements from other sources. In our case here, this part where you can enter the text is an iframe. So what are we going to do here, and why is this iframe test important? Well, the thing is, why is it important? It's important because if you try, for example, to get this part here, this text area here, and you would want your Selenium test to perform actions like sending some keys, you will not be able to do that because this text area is not actually part of the web page directly. It's part of the iframe which is in the web page. So in order to be able to write in here, we need to identify the iframe. We need to tell Selenium, I want you now to work in the iframe. And what we're going to do extra is we're going to, after we enter some text here, we're going to make the text bold or activate the bold option and enter some different text. Maybe it seems a little bit confusing, but don't worry. I'm here to help and I'm going to show you how easy it is to do it. So first things first, if we go to IntelliJ, there's already a test created, iframe test, and this is also going to be available on GitHub. And we are already navigating to the page. So let's write our other parts. So first we need to identify the iframe, and then we need to switch to the iframe, identify and send data to the text area. Afterwards, we want to check that the text is there. The text was entered. And then activate the bold option. Then we send data to the text area. And then we check that the text was entered. Perfect. So let's get started. When we have a web page and we want to make sure or want to know, do we have any iframes here? The easiest thing that you can do is actually to search for iframe. Okay, first thing, it found the text, but that's not what we want. We want to go and see if we have any iframe tags, and we have it. Perfect. And this one can be identified as any other Selenium web element via ID, CSS, expect, and so forth. But since we have an ID here, we can use this one. So let's just use it. We will make here web element, iframe, and we're going to identify it by ID. Perfect. Now we want to, like I said, switch to the iframe. And how do we do that? Well, we have opened the driver, and we actually have a method from Selenium which says switch to, and then we can see where do we want to switch to. And we can say frame, take frame with the web element, and we just give it the iframe. Okay, then now since we are in the iframe, we can go and identify this area here. And the area seems to have a unique ID, but let's check it. So ID, yeah, that's perfect. So we have now the unique ID, and we can create a web element also for the text area. And like I said, I want to clear the text area, and then I want to send some keys. And well, what should we send? Let's create a variable for that. It's better. Test1 text, and let's just call it test1. And I want to send this, and afterwards let's just assert true. So we want to see if in the text area there is the text test1 text. Let's just do the import with Alt Enter. We open the menu and we import. And afterwards, what do we want afterwards? We want afterwards to activate the bold option. Okay, but here is one thing. Before we can tell Selenium, okay, now click here. We also need to tell Selenium, I'm not using the iframe anymore. So we switch the focus here to the iframe, and we need to tell Selenium, okay, I'm done with the iframe. Please go back to my parent. Okay, and that can be done with driver, switch to parent frame. And now we can identify here this item, and well, let's see, we have a class, and if we have that class there are 10 items. I can live with that. So our bold is the third item. So let's make a list of web elements. Web elements, or web element, let's see, text options. I'm going to driver find elements by CSS selector, and we're entering here the selector. It has to be a selector, so we'll put one point there, remove the space and put another point there. And IntelliJ is going to be nice enough right now to tell us, well, here you need to have a list, and it did it for us. And from the, like I said, from this one, the third option, which matches to index number 2, was the bold. So we click that one. And we need again to tell Selenium, switch to the iframe. So now we want to send some other data. And let's see, we can make a string here for text2. So test2 text equals test2. And so we have a text area, we want to send text number 2, and then the check. Or text number 2. Okay, so now let's run the test and see if all is working. So now it should open our for me, because that's the base test. Okay, and from for me it should go to the internet, and it appeared that everything worked. So we can also debug it a bit. So let me put a stop here, and we can debug it to check that all worked. It's letting me it's a little bit too fast, especially in combination with Chrome. But now we can, since we have a breakpoint there, we can see, okay, so we go to the application and we see we have test 1 and test 2, and also both our checks passed. Perfect. So thank you very much for watching this video on selling recipes. If you have any other recipe which you want me to do, write in the comments. And if you don't have any recipes which you want me to do, stay tuned for the recipes which I have already planned. See you in the next one. Bye bye.